Quick trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about gay violence. I'm going to be using some slurs and homophobias in this video, so if that triggers you, don't, next video. I'm sorry, maybe I'll give you like a cut version, but yeah, trigger warning, just be aware. Well, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna be a bit of a different video. I don't think it's gonna be as lighthearted as my other ones. I usually don't do serious videos, but I did do a sort of serious one, with a Black Lives Matter video, but this one's gonna be a lot more serious because certain things were brought to my attention. So, as I'm sure some of you have heard, LGBTQ plus history is going to be taught in school, and I am so happy for that. I am so grateful for that. I'm gonna get into everything, soon, and just my whole opinions. But let me give you a backstory of why I'm doing this video. So, as you know, I was planning on doing LGBT history and representation in Disney, and then I was going to do a video on social medias and ranking them. That video's been pushed back 3 or 4 times now. I promise it's coming. I have it filmed. I just need to edit it and post it, but things have been happening. And then I was going to do a One Direction video, and then there's other things in the pipeline, but point is I'm doing this one now because it's more important to me. So I'm doing this video because a friend of mine's her sister made a post joking about skipping the LGBT history class or the lesson or however they're going to do it. And then I went to go see the TikTok that they reposted and all the other videos that account has posted. It's a whole account made on homophobia, talking about how much they hate gay people and all the stuff. And I'll bring up the receipts and I'll show some of the videos and show some of the screenshots, some of the stuff. But some of the stuff they said is horrible and vile, and a lot of the comments were agreeing with them, saying it's not homophobic to not want to learn about gay people. I'll get into why it is homophobic, just like it's racist to not want to learn about Black history. It is, and if you disagree, I'm sorry to call you a racist, but you need to look into that. So, yeah, basically I'm just going to be talking about why LGBT history class matters and what it'll do and what it'll help. I don't think y'all realize how much the LGBT community still doesn't have. I was one who believed that once we got our right to marry, it was over. We didn't need anything. We could cancel Pride Month. We didn't need Pride parades. It was over. We didn't need any of it. But the truth is that we still do, because when we stop celebrating, because when gay people and trans people stop celebrating who they are, when non-binary people, pansexuals, bisexuals, demisexual, anyone under the umbrella, when we stop celebrating who we are, when we stop loving who we are because we have the right to marry, that's when they win. When we give in to a little thing, when we stop celebrating the fact that we've won, is when they win and when they get what they want. They want LGBT people suppressed. They want gay people to live in a heteronormative relationship. That doesn't mean they want us married to women or men or whatever. They want us to be like them. They want us to not be proud of who we are. They want us to live a normal suburban life. It's my dad. Okay. So, like trans people, that you can be trans as long as you pass and you don't ask for too much stuff. I don't know if y'all heard recently, but Trump has taken away health privileges for transgender people. They're allowed to be denied service on their gender, how they present themselves. Same with androgynous men and people that don't fit the normal gender status and quo. So yeah, that, and he did that on Pride Month during a pandemic. I'm not going to get into all that because this is about the one topic, but I'm going to give a little backstory so we can get into that topic. I'm sorry. I cried over this earlier, and I don't want to cry again because it's like a hard topic to talk about whenever you see your community hurt and belittled and taken advantage of constantly, and this and that, sexualized, fetishized. You know, when you see this happen in your community, it hurts, and it happens a lot. These accounts that come up, you know, you have these prideful accounts, which their whole goal was to expose LGBT youth and make them pay for whatever. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. What was I gonna say? So yeah, basically we finally got our chance to tell our history and have other people know about our history and why it's important to teach. So this TikTok that I saw, I'm gonna show the account because I'm gonna let you guys go for yourself. It'll be, I'll have it in the description or maybe in the video you'll see when I edit it. But they only have 4 TikToks up right now. One of them was saying, places where gay people belong. Number 1 was prison. Number 2 was labor camps. Number 3 was I think the yard, which was like, you know, in the ground, we deserve to be dead. Maybe I think hell was on there. Conversion, you know, places where gay people belong, and it was like, yeah, dead in prison, labor camps. Tell me that's not homophobic. And then he was like, I'm homophobic and proud. It's like all these prideful accounts that came out, you know, I think I talked about those. But it's like all these prideful accounts that came out. And basically just trying to bring down the gay community. And then the second video came out of, they were in a Lamborghini, I guess, and they were driving, and it was a Nicki Minaj song, ironically. You know, a lot of gay people love Nicki Minaj, and she's a huge supporter of the LGBT community. But, you know, he used that song, and it was like, the homies and I skipping LGBTQ history class to go to McDonald's. First of all, McDonald's, really? Where's the taste? McDonald's? At least you could have said Taco Bell or like Chick-fil-A. No. Chick-fil-A would have worked perfectly. Homophobes stick together. But like Wendy's, like where's the taste? McDonald's, really? What are you gonna get? Chicken nuggets and fries? I could go on to a whole roasting thing. Also, this person has never showed their face. Of the 4 videos I've seen, I've never showed their face. So they're very scared, and you know, they first of all, they know what they're doing is wrong, so they're not going to show their face so they don't get in trouble. They also don't care. I mean, they're too scared to get in trouble. They obviously have something that they're too scared to lose. I hope and pray one day they'll get what's coming to them. I'm not a Christian either, so I don't pray, but like I do wish that they will get what's coming to them. And they will. I believe in karma and retributions and stuff like that. So I do believe one day they will get what's coming to them. Anyways, the third video was a comment on the one with the Nicki Minaj song saying, not you using a Nicki Minaj song or something like that. And they're like, yep, homophobic and proud. When you're a minority, or a marginalized group, rather, they will use your culture, which Nicki Minaj is our culture, but they will use what you're interested in and your culture against you. You see it with black people, culture vultures, you know, cultural appropriation. They take their culture, they look, you know, people portray it as they look better, they're less ghetto, they're this and that, whatever, you know, when they wear box braids, when white women wear box braids. And then, you know, they take gay songs like Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga and Lana Del Rey, and then they weaponize that against the gay community in that video. It happens. It does happen. It happened in that video. And then their fourth video was... Oh, it was explaining how gay people are the most selfish people in the world. They force people to learn about their history, how they choose to love someone, choose to love who they love, how they shouldn't, you know, they don't care about this, that, you know, we shouldn't have to learn it. It's not... I'm going to get into why it's important to learn, but I want to talk about this account real quick. And they have I think 1,000 followers now. They have a lot of supporters, which, I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot, but 1,500 something agree with them. 1,500 people agree with them. And you're gonna see a lot of gay people who agree that LGBT history shouldn't be taught in schools. That's internalized homophobia. First of all, you have a right to your opinion. If you don't want LGBT history to be taught in schools, that's fine. But you gotta realize that that is really important. The reason people of color's history and LGBT history and disabled history should be taught in school is because empathy. It's empathy. When you teach those, you put yourself in a place of those marginalized group. Women's history should be taught as well. You see their struggles, you see what they have to go through. Nobody, you know how many people don't know where the term faggot comes from? Do you not know how many people don't know what the term faggot means, where it comes from? It's not my job to explain, but I'm going to for the sake of this video. It comes from whenever straight cis people would take gay and transgender people, roll them up in like rugs or carpet or something, and burn them like a cigarette. Because, you know, cigarette used to mean faggot, and, you know, faggots used to be cigarettes, and now they're gay people, and it's used as a slur. And that's why I'm okay with gay people reclaiming the term, and why I don't think straight people or cis people should use it, because did you guys get burnt? Were you guys mutilated and killed? Gay people still get stoned around the world. That's why it doesn't matter how much we have in America, which isn't a lot when you think about it, when you really look into what gay protection we have. Still around the world, gay people are being mutilated and killed and stoned. And I think it was the Philippines a couple years ago. There were 2 gay women who were stoned to death for loving who they want to love. You know, they were stoned to death. And it was so sickening and sad, and you don't know. This guy on the fourth video I was talking about, oh, they say kill all straight men 2020 as a joke. That is a joke. Is it an okay joke? I don't know. It's not my place to say. But it was a joke. And then he also said they make it seem like being straight isn't normal. Really? Oh, really? You want to know what it's like to be told you're not normal? Did you know in the past, gay people weren't allowed to be shown on TV and movies? It was illegal to show us on TVs and movies and portray us. In the I think that law went away in the 1960s, but I may be wrong. Honestly, I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like it was maybe a little later than then. Anyways, do you not know what it's like to be told? Transgender people used to be on the DSM-5 or the DSM-4. It meant that transgender people used to be considered mentally ill to transition, which is certainly not true. Those people are a lot more stable than a lot of those people in the DSM-5 and even the DSM-4. Yeah, transgender people used to be called mentally ill. Homosexuals used to be called mentally ill. and they used to be considered pedophiles. We were comparable to pedophiles and bestial and zoophiles or whatever you call them, which is certainly not true. And I don't need to get into the reason why gay people are different than pedophiles and zoophiles, because it's common sense. Two consenting adults, a child and an animal, two things that aren't able to consent by law and just by common sense. I don't understand why I have to explain that, but there are people out there that don't understand that and just deliberately decide to not understand. That's the thing. The people that will watch this video and understand are the people I know. Are the people that I care about and already know. They don't need this. They don't need to hear this. And that's why I hope if you know someone like this, please share it with them. Yeah. So it is very important to teach gay history, to tell them about how we were treated. You know, a lot of straight people act like gays think it's not normal to be straight and cis. That is certainly not true. Anyone that talks like that is either radical and not part of the movement, or they are joking. You straight people and cis people get away with telling dark humor all the time, claiming it as dark humor, it's my sense of humor. But as soon as we do it, you guys get so offended that you have to make TikTok accounts to come after us, telling us we don't want to know about your history and we hope you all die. I'm not letting go of that you want gay people to die joke. Because even if it is a joke, are you kidding me? You said gay people belong in the ground? In the fucking ground? I probably shouldn't cuss. My dad's in the other room. Yeah, he's like very old school when it comes to children cussing. Yeah, I'm only 16. I'm gonna be 17 in a couple of days, actually. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. You want gay people in the ground. That's what you said to me. So yeah, I'm going to get a little pressed whenever that is being said. I don't think I deserve to die. I don't think anyone deserves to die. We have I think people need to be changed and reformed. I don't think anyone deserves to die. There are people that deserve to be locked away forever, no doubt about that, but I don't think anyone deserves to die. Just because, I mean, you... Back it up. Back to why our history should be taught in school. It is just so frustrating to hear about the same straight men. And you know what a lot of times happen? A lot of people they teach about aren't straight, and they straight wash them like they whitewashed Beethoven. Let's talk about some LGBT history icons that they don't talk about. The fact that they were gay or trans or whatever. Alexander Hamilton. I've talked about this, I've expressed this. He was bisexual, he was in love with John Lawrence, you could see it in the notes. That's the thing, homosexuality wasn't a big thing in that time, so you had to realize that there wasn't a term for loving another man, so you have to take that at face value, that when he says that he loved him, and he didn't know how to express that through his words. Just read the notes and you'll see it. You'll have to be an idiot to not. I'm sorry. Let's see, Eleanor Roosevelt. She was a huge lesbian. She had a whole affair with, what was her name? I can't remember. But she had an affair with a woman many times. Da Vinci. Shakespeare, bisexual. He also loved black women, but no one ever talked about that. They just talked about his Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet and other things here. I'm blanking. Dorian Gray. I mean, who was the writer? What was the writer's name? But that was the book. Oscar Wilde, that's his name. The author Oscar Wilde. They don't ever talk about him. Many Greek gods were bisexual because they didn't really believe in sexuality. and they don't ever talk about that. They talk about the origin story and then like some of the other stories, but they never talk about their sexuality or like the times that they've shown interest, that the male ones have shown interest in men and women ones have shown interest in women. Point is that there's a lot of bisexuality and homosexuality in Greek, Norse, and Roman mythology. Look in Egypt, there was also forms of transgenderism and LGBT gods in Egypt, so look into that. India and Africa in the past, they had forms of LGBT tribes. In Africa, they had like gay and lesbian tribes, and they had like a third gender type thing. Same with India and Native Americans and a lot of different indigenous people. Homophobia is another form of colonization. You look at many of these indigenous tribes and the Greeks, and you see that they had forms of LGBT representation in their history. And when the white men came in, or even the Muslims who came in and took over Egypt, they took that and said no more of that. They destroyed our history, expected us to just be okay with that in the future. Well, at the time, I don't think anyone said anything about it, but now we're rising up, we're talking about it because that's our history. That is our history. When you sit back and you allow those to get erased by history and erased by time, it's like there's still common misinformation about gay people in the world, and I think with our history that would help a lot more. You know how many times I've heard people think the worst and most horrible things about transgender people, not knowing about who they are and what they are, and who they want to be. It's so disgusting. There's people that don't understand. They don't understand, and having a history lesson would help them understand and show that there's nothing unnormal about gay, trans, lesbian, bis, pans, demis, non-binary, asexuals. There's nothing unnatural, unnormal about that. You see homosexuality in nature. Lions have gay sex. Penguins have gay sex. Dogs, cats, tigers, birds. The list goes, spiders, the list goes on. And so when I sit here and I see people complain about not wanting to learn, they want to learn how to buy a house, they want to learn how to, first of all that should be taught, but why can't we have LGBT history, tax, learning how to do taxes, learning how to buy a house, but why do we need trigonometry? Don't complain about about gay history. That's just your homophobia. I'm not going to explain any more of why that is. That's just you being homophobic. Complain about how they teach trigonometry as a mandatory class, calculus as a mandatory class, algebra 2 as a mandatory class, though geometry as a mandatory class. Now, some of those do have important stuff in them, but then when the whole entire thing isn't. If you're not focusing on a math career, I don't see any reason why those have to be taken. I've seen this post on Instagram explaining there are no such thing as dumb students or smart students. There are students with different skill sets, which is true. And when you put them all into one setting, and then you have class levels, you have AP and honors, and the what were they called? In elementary, you had like what were they called? Anyways, it was like, you had the smart kid classes. When you do that, when you separate, that's first going to put kids in the mindset that they're not smart enough. that they shouldn't even try, which is true. Example. And then when you have AP and honors, I agree we should have different level of classes, but I know, especially at a young age, not really high school, but especially at middle school and elementary age, that can be very detrimental to someone's self-esteem. That's why I don't hate double block reading. I don't hate pre-algebra. I don't hate what is that called? Liberal arts, math. I don't hate all those classes that are designed to help kids with who need extra help in subjects. My problem is when you force kids to do certain subjects that they don't want to do. If a kid is amazing at football, I think he should have, or she should have, football related classes. Now that being said, it's hard to get in the NFL, so they need a backup, but that's the thing, that should be their choice. If I want to focus on my history of the LGBT, of being gay, and I think LGBT history should be mandatory, just like I think Black history, Latino history, Asian history, Indigenous history, all those should be mandatory because it's important. I don't think y'all realize how much it helps to, when you learn the history, how much it helps to feel those emotions of those people that went through it, to put empathy in other people and help them out. I want people to realize how important it is to teach this stuff and to have it as an option at least. Black history isn't a mandatory subject in school. I'm pretty sure, at my school at least, we have the class as an option, but you don't have to take it. And I want to take it, but there's no room in my schedule, unfortunately. I promise if I had room, I would take it, and maybe I will in the future in college or something. We'll have to see. But I've learned Black history because the teachers I've had have been very good at teaching that and telling us what we had to learn and what we needed to learn and the importance of it. And so I'm very grateful for those. Four or five teachers that I've had that have taught me the history. It needs to start at a young age. Teaching about race and sexuality needs to start at a young age because that's when you're most impressionable. That's when, if you have those instilled knowledges, you can leave your racist, homophobic parents. Another thing about teaching gay history, to show that gay people are normal to gay people, there are so many times that I have thought that I was not normal, especially in middle school, because I haven't learned anything about gay people in history. And I thought for so many years, I thought that gay people were a nuanced thing and they haven't existed since the dawn of time, which they have. Which we have. We have. Gay people have existed since the cavemen. Maybe, actually probably before that, because dinosaurs were probably homosexual. I mean, if it's in lions and birds, why not a T-Rex? See what I mean? Anyways. It's just so, I think, of course, we don't need gay people in math or, we don't need gay people in math. I mean, math doesn't need people at all. I think the 4 courses that need gay attention the most are science, the science of being transgender and being gay, because there is science to it. There's many different theories, and don't say they don't teach theories, because gravity is technically a theory of motion, all the theory of evolution. So they do teach theories, and so they can teach all the LGBT theories about being gay. So gay people need to be taught in science, sex ed, history, and language arts. And it's really important that they're all taught there, because I already talked about science, but sex ed is because gay sex is a lot different, and there's a lot more to it than straight sex. They need to break down the barriers and explain how hookup culture, because, and don't tell me that they can't talk about this. They need to explain how hookup culture is not a good thing, and they need to teach how that's bad and not do that. They should talk about it, because they talk about teen pregnancies and STDs and rape and stuff like that, and less of the rape, but sometimes they do. And they teach about abortions, so I think they should teach about hookup culture and how it affects gay people. Hookup culture spreads diseases, it kills gay people, it causes so many problems to the community, the LGBT community, that they need to touch on that in sex ed. They also need to touch on how gay sex works, because to this day I still don't understand. I've never had sex before, but I don't understand it. Top, bottom, verse. I mean, I do understand that, but I don't understand. I don't understand pleasure, and semen and stuff like that. Anyways, they need to talk about that in sex ed, because I don't need to know how to pleasure a woman, or insert my penis into a vagina, because I don't plan on doing that at all. Maybe. No, that's for a different video. Anyways, I've expressed my reason for needing gay history. Now, gay language arts. If we can learn about white poets, black poets, Asian writers, Latinx writers, why not gay writers and poets? They talk about their struggles and what they had to go through. There are so many books from the Stonewall riots, and there are poems by gay people expressing gay issues and problems that I don't understand why they don't teach them. Of course, if a teacher really wants to, they can, but I think it should be a mandatory thing to talk about, because you see poems of every different, like, marginalized group, maybe not disabled, except for the LGBT community. And I sit here and I think to myself, God, would I love to read a story about, would I love to read a gay love story? I can't think of that many gay books off the top of my head. I was reading this nice one, like, last year. I finished it. It was so good. I don't remember what it's called. But there are so little. There's, like, Simon and versus the Homo sapien agenda, you know, but more people know the movie than the book. But I think we need to read gay stories. I think this book I was just talking about that I forgot the name of was really, it was called, shoot. I just remember that it was, the main character's name was Kenzie, and his love interest was Ran. I think it was Ran. And I like Ran. Until I didn't at the end. I'm not going to spoil. But that would be such a good story to tell. Not only does it deal with a society that separates with classes, but it talks about sexuality and how gays are not allowed. It has transgenders in there. It has, I think, a non-binary character. It talks about indigenous people and how they are dying out, and how their culture is dying out, and how there are barely any full-bred indigenous, people left of certain areas, depending on where. It also has like a North Korean and a North Korean and South Korean society. If you look at it, it kind of reminded me of North Korea and South Korea. They're called like North and South Crystal, but not spelled like crystal, spelled like crystal. I'm gonna put the book in somewhere to show you what I'm talking about. But and it also has like military, because it reminded me of North Korea, because like in North Crystal you have to spend like a certain amount of years in the military, like North Korea, and then gays are outlawed like North Korea, and there's like a mall, and then they do Bunbury. It's really good. I would really check it out. Honestly, if I know you personally, maybe I'll even lend it to you, as long as you give it back, because I love that book and I never want it to go away. But yes, I think we should read about gay people in school. in language arts. Other courses that could be more courteous to gay and trans people are like PE for, like locker room reasons. The locker room is a scary place for gay people. You think that it's gay paradise. Oh, look at all these bulges and men. Nope. We hate it in there. Maybe like a pervy gay kid would like it, but not me. Oh, that place is scary. First of all, it smells. I want to rip my nose off every time I go into that damn locker room. There's roaches. It's dirty. There's like random clothes everywhere. And I don't know if everyone is like this. Maybe, I don't think so, but my school and my middle school was like this. Plus, testosterone is everywhere, and a lot of those straight men, now, they're not necessarily homophobic, but they catch you looking and they're like, it's time to fight. Not to stereotype all straight men, but they're a lot like that. And so, no, it's not a fun place for gay people, and it could be a little bit more welcoming. Not saying let gay guys into the girls section, don't do that, because there's going to be straight guys who pretend to be gay, because that's what they do. I'm just saying be a little bit more considerate. And be considerate of people with body issues. I don't like to get undressed in front of people. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm not going to get undressed in front of people. That's not happening. Another thing, be more considerate of trans people. Some of them aren't allowed in there. Give them a pass on the locker room. Just do it. It's not that hard. It's really hard to prove that you're gay. It's not hard to prove that you're transgender, but it's hard to prove that you are gay. So I get them being leery of giving gay people privileges, but I don't know. Do it. I'm tired of sitting back and being... I don't want to give into the heteronormative lifestyle of being like a submissive gay and, oh, whatever straight people say we should do, If straight people think we don't need a Pride Month, that's fine. If they don't think we need Pride Parades, that's fine. No, I'm not going to give into that, because that's not fair to me. That's not fair to my community. That's not fair to my friends who are LGBT community. That's not fair to my gay family members. So I'm not doing that. So, what else is left of this video? I think that's about it. I just really wanted to talk about why I think it's important to have LGBT history. I don't think... What I think a lot of people don't realize is how much actually teaching it helps, and how it helps people realize, oh, maybe these people deserve rights, and the right to live and the right to love. I don't think how many of you really recognize that this is a good thing. Suck it up. Oh my God. Gay people have to go every day learning about the next straight president who didn't do anything for the country, or we have to go around learning about the next straight war chief and straight historical figure that did nothing for nobody. Let's instead focus on gay rights, transgender and gay people who have shaped the world we have now. Marsha P. Johnson, she was so huge. Her and Sylvia Rivera, I think, should be mandatory to learn. Why is it not mandatory? Look at what they've done for Black lives and gay and trans lives. Look at Latinx lives too. Look at what they've done. And then tell me that they're not important. You cannot tell me, because I will not accept it. My mom's home now. She's probably going to knock on the window or something, trying to make a joke. So I'm going to stay on to see if she does that. Okay, let's go back to that TikTok I was talking about. So, the fourth TikTok was what really got to me, and the comments on the second one about school. But the fourth one really got to me because he was saying all these things. No, it didn't get to me, but it was very ironic that he thinks straight people are painting. I mean, he thinks that gay people are painting straight people as not normal, which is so ironic because you know how long gay people have lived thinking they're not normal, being told they're not normal. There are slurs for gay people. There's not slurs for straight people other than like breeder, but really you're going to get offended by the term breeder. Where does breeder stem from? The fact that you can have children. Gay people can't have biological children unless they two gay men can't have biological kids together. Like you again, comparing faggot to breeder. Really do I need to make that comparison of why there's no such thing as a straight slur? Lord. So yeah, okay, so the comments really got me. They're saying, I'm not homophobic, but first of all, if you have to say I'm not, but watch what you have to say. Count your days. I really want to start practicing witchcraft so I can just curse these people. Because I see these people getting cursed. Like, I hear these stories of people getting cursed, and then they're actually, like, kind of real. And I'm like, plus, you know I believe in witches. So I'm going to start learning black magic and curses and hexes. And then I will, curse them. I was trying to think of what I was going to do. So yeah, the comments really got me. I'm not homophobic, but you know, I'd rather learn to buy a house. I don't know how hard it is to buy a house. I really don't. Is that something that needs to be taught in school? Taxes do. I'll agree with you on taxes, but do we really need to learn to buy a house? And then she was talking about the same person was like, oh, you know, I don't want to learn about someone loving another person. I'd rather learn to buy a house. It's more than that. It is so much more than that. I don't know why I have to explain that to somebody, but there is more to being gay than loving someone. Are you kidding me? With all the injustice we face, with all the stuff that goes on, plus LGBT, lesbian, gay, bi, transgender. Oh my God. Transgender has nothing to do with sexuality. It has to do with your mindset and your body. And so yeah, there's so much more to just loving someone than transgender, or than there's so much more to loving someone. There's so much more than just loving someone when it comes to LGBT history. There are movements upon movements upon movements that never get talked about. You hear all the time, and even for black history there isn't either. But you hear more about the black history ones than the gay ones. I just found out about Tulsa, Oklahoma, though. I didn't know about Black Wall Street till like this year. I knew about, obviously everyone knows about the walk, the march on Washington led by Martin Luther King Jr. You know, I know about what happened in Selma. I know all those like really important ones, but there were so many others that are also really important that get swept under and no one talks about. And Stonewall is like the only gay movement that is talked about, and there are so many more than that. Stonewall was like the biggest one, I feel, but there are so many others, like the AIDS cabaret in New York, where, you know, a bunch of trans and gay people went and protested in a church who was telling people that if they something about it really affected gay and trans people. I don't remember exactly, but it was really important. So let's teach it. Let's talk about it. Let's do better, America. You love American history until it's not about you. That's what people. I think that's why people don't want gay history or black history, because people want to know about the World War II, World War I, Civil War. They want to know all about these wars of just violence. I'd rather know about us getting our rights. You know, I love to hear about the women's suffragette movement. I love to hear the Black Lives Matter movements and all the ones before that. I love to hear about the gay rights movements and the riots. I love to hear about, the deaf riot. So none of y'all, I'm sure none of y'all know about this, but there was, back when, I think we did a whole project on this in my ASL class, but there was a woman named, I don't remember, but she was the soon-to-be president. She was the first female, I'm pretty sure that she was the first female president of the college. What was it? I don't remember the main stuff, but a bunch of deaf people started to protest, and their protest actually got heard. And so instead of this woman, this Latina woman, oh no, she wasn't Latina, she was white. The Latina woman came after. A lesbian Latina, I think she was deaf woman, became the president of the college. Anyways, the deaf people protested. This woman got not annexed, that's not the right word. She got switched with King Jordan, who was a deaf man. He lost his hearing at 19 though. Because they really wanted a deaf president, because the school with a huge deaf population never had a deaf president, and it was so, many deaf people didn't like that, and so they had to protest. That needs to be talked about in history. Why is it not? It's only taught in ASL class, which not everyone takes. We need to talk about movements, riots, history. I can't express how much enough that history needs to be diverse. History is just a bunch of white people, white, straight, cis, able-bodied men. It's boring. There's nothing to it. What was that? Anyways, history needs to be diverse. Period. Point blank. Period. Disagree, but you're wrong. I'm sorry. If you don't think that history should be diverse, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Well, that's it for this video today. This was a rant. I usually do a script, but I didn't this time. I'm going to do the Disney video soon. I'm almost done with the script. I'm on the last part of it. I just gotta add finishing touches, and then it's done. Yes, I do my scripts because I get lost if I don't. Like, this was very rambly, and I want the Disney video to be as to the point as possible. So, yeah, stay tuned for that video, and then it's the social medias, and then it's going to be One Direction, and then whatever else happens next, I don't remember. So, thank you for watching. Remember, if you are in LGBT class and someone is making a ruckus, someone's napping, tell the teacher, get on them. I'm going to. I literally will, because that stuff is important. Bye.